we'll get started on tonight's card. Let's see here. Here we are. We'll get everything all set up. If you're on, give me a shout out. Let me know you're here watching. I'm just making sure that I've got everything going correctly and we're not sideways. Okay, we're good. We're a little crooked here. But I think every time I try to fix that, it makes things worse. Let's see here. Maybe just a little bit better. Hello, happy Sunday night, guys. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Mid-Missouri. Thanks so much for joining me on this Mother's Day. If you're a mom or an aunt, or you've got fur babies or big babies, whatever you've got, I hope you had an amazing day. My husband and I did some traveling. We went and visited some friends in Omaha over the weekend. Got home this afternoon, and Tim made me a fantastic dinner. Baby girl was in. Baby boy was home. So yeah, perfect day. And the weather is gorgeous here in Mid-Missouri. So if you're on tonight, give me a shout out. Let me know you're here watching. We are going to talk about a lot of things. So the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog went live this week, and so many beautiful things. So today I'm doing a little bit of annual catalog, a little bit of online exclusives. So I did a book fold using the Impressions of Bloom stamp set. So this is a Stampin' die set. So, I'm going to take it out of there so you can see that a little better. So, hey, Amy, thanks for joining. Oh, I'm glad New Jersey was beautiful too. The weather was awesome here today. I'm running around in shorts, watering flowers and veggies. I loved it. But back to the card. We are doing the Impressions of Bloom bundle. So this creates some really beautiful dimensional flowers, in my opinion. It's got a lot of embossing. You can do a couple of different things. You can stamp it and die cut it, or hey Karen, thanks for joining. Or you can just run this through the embossing or your cut and emboss and use these layers, and it gives you these beautiful impressions within your flowers. So this is a really beautiful stamp set or die set. I use the Everyday Arches for my sentiments. This is something I haven't played with a lot, but I am starting to really love it. Created a really cute, easy, fun fold that we're going to get to. I used the Patterns of Friendship. This is an online exclusive, I believe, and it is it has a great embossing fold or die plate. But this time I just used the sentiments, which are fantastic. So I used this, thanks for being the best, and then friends are the family you choose for yourself. So sometimes I think you really need that great friendship card, and that one's perfect. So let's get to it. So a lot of this card, let me sit there. A lot of this card is just really the designer series paper. And so this is the Floral Impressions. This is definitely an online exclusive, but it's using a lot of those new online or in colors, the Strawberry Slush specifically, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just kind of going through this. I can see myself using this so much, and it will be great for Christmas cards. All right, so there's that one. This beautiful Fresh Freesia page. Lots of really beautiful floral images. That garden green, I love. Love these bright yellow colors. And this is a fun pool party. And then also that. So that's the paper that you get with that floral impression. So I'm going to put this away so I don't mess it up. And then we'll get on to tonight's card. All right. So the first thing I think we're going to do is we're going to use my trusty old Simply Score tool. And I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 cardstock. And hopefully I can find, here we go. I have my Take Your Pick tool, because if you were on a couple of weeks ago and found that I found the tool that goes, I've already lost it again, but I told you I thought that was going to happen. So we're going to just score this 2 times. This is a 4 1/4 and then 5 1/2. So you're doing your regular fold score line at the half line marker at 5 1/2. and then once at 4 1/4. And so that gives you a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece, rectangular piece to create that book fold. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half. Now everybody does it differently. This is just the way I do. I fold it in half and then I fold it back and make sure that I've got a nice good burnish right there. That's going to make those fun folds hold just a little bit better. And you can tell that it's already holding itself without any adhesive. So because it is a fun fold, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. And I'm just going to run it right along that 4 1/4 to 5 1/2 inch space. I'm going to go ahead and fold this over and burnish that down. And that's what creates my card base. So super simple card base. Now I've pre-cut most of my stuff. So I have 2 pieces of fresh freesia, 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm going to, now I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus, or Stampin' Seal. And I am going to use that and make my mat, or adhere this to create my mat. Now, I'm going to add that to the card front. All right, so as I said, beautiful, beautiful new stuff available. Paper share stuff, if you ordered from me, will go out, I think, on Wednesday. I was out of town this weekend, so I didn't get a lot cut. But it should go out on Wednesday. Should be ready to go. I am waiting on one bizarre package that didn't get put in with my stuff. It's a weird third package that I'm not really sure why it was separated, but it did. All right, so I'm layering that DSP on another fresh freesia mat. These dimensions will be on my blog tomorrow. So that's www.terabethstamps.com. And then I'm just going to layer this up. So these are super simple, fun folds that I think a lot of people love. All right, so there we go. Now, I've got a tip for you. So this Patterns of Friendship, this is a photopolymer set. And so I stamped it earlier, and I don't know if you can really see it, but you can see that it didn't give me the best crisp image that I love. So what I did was I cleaned my stamp up real good. I kind of rubbed it along my palm to get any of that loose stuff that may be on there. And then I stamped it with Versamark a couple of times and then cleaned it up. And so I did that on both of these photopolymer sets. If you're not getting a nice crisp image, and I think sometimes that happens, especially when we have a new ink pad, you know, we just re-inked it. It's got a lot of ink, so it's pretty juicy. So I feel like sometimes that can happen. So there's a little tip and trick for you. Okay, I've got some strawberry slush, and I'm going to take the friends or the family you choose for yourself, and I'm going to ink that up with the strawberry slush, line it up on my grid paper, and give it a nice little stamp. Well, see, now that one is a little blurry. Let's flip that over and see. I push some of my ink over too. So I do that sometimes when, especially new stamps, stamp pads, Stampin' Up! Is really great about giving you nice juicy ink pads, but sometimes they're just too juicy. So let's try this again, and then we'll decide which one we're going to use. All right, that one's a little better. All right, now I'm going to set that aside, and I have the second arch out of the Everyday Arches bundle or die set. So I use the second smallest to cut that out of basic white. And now I'm going to stamp the sentiment on there, and we'll go ahead and add that to the front. So this is thanks for being the best. There we go. And now I think I'm done with my strawberry slush ink. So I'm going to set that to the side. And now we're going to add a couple of flowers. And so even though Blackberry Bushel was not part of this listing, I thought it should be, because I feel like this is either really, really dark fresh freesia, but I think it's almost blackberry bushel or blackberry bliss. So we're going to stamp that with the outline. And I'm going to do this just down here in the corner. And I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to bring my envelope over here. We're going to do the same thing. And now I have the inside from the Impressions of Bloom. I'm going to stamp that off one time with my blackberry bushel and put that in the center. And then I'm going to do that again. That one doesn't look great, but it'll be fine. Okay, now I've got my fresh freesia, and we are going to ink that up. And we're going to turn this around until I line it up. Give that a nice good stamp. Oops. And then we're going to do that on the inside too. All right. So if you got your annual catalog and you think, holy cow, there's too much for me to get on here, I love it all, you should think about being a hobby demonstrator. So hobby demonstrators join, they get $165 worth of Stampin' Up! Goodies, a free paper pumpkin, you get free shipping, which is another like almost $20. So you get your paper pumpkin, so that's over $20. You get your free shipping, you get some business supplies, you get to be part of a really great team. All for the minimum price of $99. And then when the next mini catalog comes out, you would get to order all your stuff ahead of time. So if that's something that sparks your interest, give me a shout. Let me chat with you a little bit about our team and what we're all about. And I have to say, we've got some pretty good people. Daily inspiration, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so we adhered that to the mat and put it on the inside. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and line those up for the card front. And sometimes you don't want to be a hobby demo, you want to make some extra money with it, and that's even better. All right, so I'm going to line this along the edge, and I'm being real careful to make sure it stays straight as well as it's lining up on the edge. And it is. Now, I already die cut a couple of flowers. Oh, there we go. And so I did the centers with the fresh freesia on 2 of them. I did 1 fresh freesia flower. There we go. Now, let's see here. Do I have a pair of tweezers that I can see? Nope. Just used them a few minutes ago, but they're nowhere to be found now. That's why you get 3 or 4 pair, and then you can't find 3 or 4 pair later on. All right. We're just going to have to go with it. Go with it. All right. Here we are. There's that. And then I'm just using very little liquid adhesive because there is, I mean, those are holes. They are really there. So that glue can kind of seep out if you get a little overzealous. All right. Now, I'm going to kind of line these up how I think I want them. I'm going to leave them kind of the same way I did. Yep, that's how I want them. So we're going to do this one directly to the cardstock, just a little bit. Here we go. We'll do some dimensionals. Now on something like this, what I'll normally do is add the dimensional to the cardstock and then just a little dollop of glue on my die because I want that to hold tight but I want to make sure that there we go. That's what I want it. So there it's holding tight right there with that dimensional. So it's here right there. And now let's do the same thing there, but I'm going to cut it in half. Oh, here we go. We have already got a half one here. No, I don't. Now we got one. So we'll do a half dimensional right here. And then we'll also do a little liquid adhesive. And the reason I'm putting it on the card versus on the flower itself is sometimes you've got to move it around. And then if it's over on this side, then you've got extra layers. So I feel like right there was about where that was. And look how quick this card came together. We're like 15 minutes in. So we're going to finish up with some iridescent faceted gems. I act like I don't know what these are. They're my very favorite. So I'm just going to do a couple here. Right there. And then we'll do our envelope. So right there. We've got Blog Hop on Tuesday. We've got Masculine's card coming on. Oh, thanks, Amy. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, we've got masculine cards coming from the team on Tuesday. So if you need that Father's Day card or a masculine card, I think there'll be some really great ones. I've got 2 hours to get a card created and get it posted. So I guess I better get busy on that. All right, we're just adhering this designer series paper to the back. Let's see here. What else do we have? Not a lot going on other than new product. I get another big brown box on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to all of that to play with. And then, so be looking out for some new stuff coming this next week. All right, here's today's card book fold, friendship book fold. Thanks so much for spending part of your Mother's Day with me. I appreciate everything. Oh, Angie, that's okay. Just catch the replay. You guys have an amazing day. Thanks so much for spending part of your Sunday with me, and I'll see you here next week.